Hello and welcome back to another episode of Underrated, Overrated. I'm really sorry I never got around to making a video last week. Time unfortunately got away from me. I did have a little shuffle around of the room though, and I've managed to fall on this. Although looking very bare at the moment, over the next week or month or so I'm going to slowly build this into hopefully quite a nice studio for us. And yeah, let's get into this week's episode. There was only two horses I wanted to take a look at this week, and the first is Phil Daw, who ran in the juvenile race at Fairyhouse on the weekend, and I just want to lean towards this being an underrated performance. I think there was a bit of an overreaction at the start. I think his price is now far too short for the Triumph, but on this series I like to look at the performance rather than everything else around it. And if I'm honest with you, on ground that was probably too quick for him, he's done it really well. First time out on soft ground, he was very impressive. He stepped up into graded company this time around. And just watching it, he just jumped so sweetly the whole way around. And when Davy Russell asked for his effort, he didn't really take much to get in front and just sort of held him there. I think it was a really good performance. As I say, it's going to be hard to want to put your money down on about 9-2 for the Triumph this early on, especially given we haven't seen half the horses likely to turn up in the race. So although not looking at it from a punting perspective, from an actual performance-wise, I think that's a really impressive performance. I can't wait to see where this horse goes next. The next performance we're going to be taking a look at is Ahoy Senor's performance at Newbury. And again, underrated performance. I think a lot of people are going to be looking at this race and thinking, oh, it fell apart, the favourite didn't jump too well. But I just think Ahoy Senor was just by far the best horse in the race and justifiably won by 31 lengths. I think we may have just seen the RSA winner. Now, he is going to have to brush up on his jumping, and he did unseat his rider first time out, but that race is actually starting to work out quite well. The winner, Fiddler on the Roof, ran second in the Ladbrokes Trophy on the weekend, and I think Ahoy Senor was still there pitching. I wish he did stay on his feet just to see how well he would have finished. Now, he was a Grade 1 winner, Grade 1 winning hurdler last year, and I think that was no fluke. In behind, he had Brave Man's Game and Oscar Elite for Colin Tizard. I think there's lots to like about this horse, and maybe just because he's not from that fashionable yard, he may just sneak under the radar. I think one of the key things for me is that he ran on ground that was likely too quick for him. He unfortunately has been pulled out 3 times in his career on account of quick ground, and from my knowledge, Newbury was riding like a brick. So I'm fairly taken with the performance, and roll on Boxing Day, where I think he's going to give Brave Man's Game a real run for his money in the Corto Star. And because I only managed to cover 2 horses, I wanted to give you an eye-catcher from the weekend, and that was Chitterbello for Dan Skelton. He started last season off a mark of 155. I think he ran well. I think he ran really well twice, including only being beaten a few lengths in the international hurdle at Cheltenham. Now, he started this season after a 350-day break off a mark of 147, and he stayed on really well on ground that may have been just a tad too quick for him. I did some hunting around, and Dan Skelton said he wasn't really fit for the occasion, is likely to come on a lot for it. And I think if he gets dropped a few pounds for that effort, which I think he will, he could definitely be a force in some handicaps. So Chitterbello is one to add to your notebooks. Okay, that's going to wrap up this week's episode of Underrated, Overrated. If you think I've got anyone wrong, please drop them down below. And if you want my opinion on any horse who ran this weekend, drop it down below and I'll make sure to reply to the comments. And I'll see you guys next week.